What's up, guys? This is Victor. I hope you're doing well. Okay, so today I wanted to shoot you a quick video about how to identify a WordPress template. So, like, how to identify what template is being used on a particular website. And so this comes up a couple times. Like, one thing is, like, in my business, I do custom WordPress websites for people. And so what a lot of people will do is they'll get a website thinking that they're getting a custom WordPress website, and it's in fact really just a template, which is a shame. There's nothing wrong with having a template. Sometimes it's exactly what you need, but it's just if you're paying for what you think is a custom website and you're getting a template, like, that's no good. So one thing you can do right here is just use this to help identify if the provider you're looking at if they're selling templates or if they're in fact making custom websites. You'll get to see that in just a second. But another cool thing you'll get to do is you can look at like competitors or other people's websites and see like what's the theme that they're using, and maybe they're just using a theme that you can find and use yourself, and this video will help you identify how to do that as well. So I'll see you on the other side. Okay, so let's look at some examples of how we can identify the theme being used on a particular website and like what you can do with that information. So a couple things to note is, this is really just for WordPress websites, so just kind of keep that in mind. A lot of them are WordPress websites, so it's pretty useful. But the first thing is I'm just choosing random websites. I don't really know much about any of these websites. I'm just using this for reference purpose. So the first thing you want to do is I'm on Chrome, and so I would highly recommend using Chrome. I like Chrome a lot. But just click here under View, and then Developer, and then View Source. So this is the source code for the website. So one thing you should know is like there's no such thing as like a quote-unquote real website versus like a not real website. Like any website you see on the web, this is how they render. They all have to render like HTML and CSS. It's just the same thing. When you buy a template, it's just a pre-made framework, a way of doing it. But it doesn't make it quote like not real. It's not like Apple.com uses special code that's different from other people's code. It's just all the same stuff. Anyway, so the first thing you want to do is just see if this is a WordPress website at all. So to do that, use the find function. I use Command F on my Mac and type in the word WP-, right? So hopefully this should light up like this. If it doesn't, then that means it's probably not a WordPress website. But if it does, then you'll know you're in the right place. This is a WordPress website. So the next thing you want to do is type in themes and then a /, right? And what you'll see right after it is the name of the theme. Sometimes they try and sneak and try and pretend like it is a custom site, but I'll show you how to work around that in just a second. But basically, you want to identify the theme. You can just click on it if you want. It'll take you to some random page that doesn't work. And so what you can do is just delete out everything except for the name of the theme. And then I would put in WordPress theme. And it turns out like the name of this theme is theme 47 whatever, but there it is. And so then you can see within the search results, like this is the where you can get the theme. So it's going to load here, and this is like where you can buy like this particular theme. I think I have super slow internet today, so apologies in advance. Let's see if we get this. All right, here we go. So as you can see here, it has this like little 1, 2, 3, 4 thing, as does the reference site here. So you can identify like, okay, yeah, that's the theme they're using. And if you notice, like obviously the colors are different. This is like black and yellow and that kind of thing. So they've modified the theme a little bit. They've matched it to match the colors here. Not a ton. I would still characterize this as like a straight up like template, not a semi-custom site. Other things you can do then is like once you've identified, if you want to kind of vet that company, it looks like it's made by this company. I'm not picking on them. I don't know them at all. But they made the site, right? And so what you can then do is just see like what other sites that they did or what other themes that they used based off of that, right? So they don't say that they're doing custom sites. A lot of times, if they don't specifically spell out that they do custom sites, then you have to assume that it's probably either a template or a semi-custom design. I'll explain a little bit more about that actually right now. So this is a good example here. So let's go here to another, portfolio example. And so, so it looks like this is a site that they did. And so then what you can do is you can go to that site and see what, look at that source code and kind of keep going down the rabbit hole here. So, for example, we'll go here, we'll go view developer, view source. And again, we will hit Command F and themes. And you see it has DT-the7, which I had not heard of before. But if you type in WordPress theme and then this, and then hit enter, so WordPress theme and just like whatever the name of the theme was, you'll see it has the 7.io, the most customizable theme on the market. And so what this is really almost just like a framework where, you have the ability to kind of it's for people who want to develop a site but don't know how to custom code in PHP is what it really is for, or even CSS really. And so what it allows you to do, you can see these are all quite different looking. There are still limitations to it, and it's still, it's not a custom site. The thing about a custom site is like when you're getting a custom site, it's all about like your message, your content, the visitor, what their needs are, and you're designing around that, and then you're developing around that. And so the development is like not a limitation, it's like the last thing to come in. Whereas when you work with like a template, basically you got to work with those constraints to begin with. You kind of have to shoehorn your idea or your needs into a pre-existing framework or design. And my advice when working with templates is if you find something that you really like, just kind of work with that design as much as possible. Don't try and reinvent the wheel. If you see something that works, try and follow that, especially if you don't know how to code. And it also becomes problematic because like when you work with a pre-made template, typically you have like a developer who's editing it, and developers are not creatives. Like you want a separate designer than a developer, and not have the same person who's developing the site designing your site. And so that becomes a bit of an issue too. But anyway, like these are the different websites that are made out of this one template. So you see here, it's like quite flexible. Another example I wanted to show is like sometimes what a company will do is they will say that they make a custom website, and I think that they will actually tell you. I've had clients directly work with people where they thought they were getting a custom WordPress website. They spent tens of thousands of dollars in some case, and they got a template instead. And so what you can do is what they'll do is I'm going to go here. This is what looks to be like a custom site. And if we go here under themes, this is usually an indication that this is a not a question mark, a custom website with this, which it has the name of the company under the themes. That means, oh, okay, I'm using a custom theme. But if you keep looking, you'll see that it doesn't keep saying the name of the company. It then goes on to say something else. It says the word total. And so it turns out that this total is another one of those I'll call them frameworks. They're essentially a template, but they're a little bit more than a template. They allow you to customize quite a bit. So this is what I would call a semi-custom theme or a semi-custom website. It's definitely more custom than like just where you're changing the colors. You can definitely change a lot around, but it's not exactly the same thing where you're making Photoshop files of the site and then developing around it as a custom site. So, lastly, I will show you an example of a custom site. So this is a site that we did here. So this is the front end. If you go to view developer and then view source, and we go Command F and themes and a /S, you'll see that all of the little theme things have the name of the company at the end of it. And that is a good indicator of that this is indeed a custom WordPress website. Again, there's absolutely nothing wrong with using kind of either one of these, like a framework or like a straight up template, nothing at all. But it's just you have to know what you're getting, and if you think you're getting one thing and you're paying for something else, that's where like problems arise. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, please leave a like, feel free to subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.